Hello everyone, this is Barrel Dragon 65 and this is the review of Daria Season 1. I'm going to go in order of episodes, give out details about new characters introduced, plots and all that. So there is spoilers on it, but Daria's not the kind of show that, oh, if I miss one episode, I missed the entire story arc. There isn't. Not really much a story arc kind of thing until season 3. The pilot episode is called Steamers. Oh, by the way, I have a little note script here. This is basically a basic pilot episode. It's the first day of school. Daria and Quinn and their families. Father Jake, Mother Helen. Daria and sister Quinn enroll into Lawndale High. Their principal is Angela Lee, who cares more about security and money. Throughout the whole series, she cares about security because at one point it says, Miss Morgendorf, those bomb-sniffing dogs have to eat. And one episode that she buys an $8,000 lie detector. It's silly. We are also introduced to Mr. DiMartino, a social studies teacher who is military strict and easily asserts his authority with anger and eyes popping out now and then. The sociable, tender, caring, happy Mr. O'Neill who does English. We also meet Jane Lane, Daria's best friend, who is an artist and a runner. You'll get more about the running part, I would say, season 2. I've not looked up that far yet. We're also introduced to the running theme. Not a running gag, but every episode there's a part called Six Sad World, a TV show that does goofy things. Episode 2, The Invitation. Daria gets invited to head cheerleader Brittany's party. We're also introduced to Quinn's 3 quote-unquote boyfriends. These are basically 3 teenage boys that follows her around because she looks pretty, wants to kiss up any way he can. Their names are Joey, Jesse, and Jamie. We're also introduced to the art teacher, Miss DeSalle. She rarely appears in the episode, like 4. She rarely has speaking parts in this. I mean, in one episode called Arts and Crafts, I think it's season 2. You'll learn more about that later. We're also introduced to the quarterback, Kevin, Brittany's boyfriend. Mackenzie, who also works on the football team. Kevin gives him weird nicknames and Mackenzie hates them. We're also introduced to Jane's brother, Trent, who will, later in the season and season 2, Daria and Trent come together, almost like boyfriend and girlfriend. Season 2, you'll learn more about it. Trent has his own band, a garage band, I would say, called Mystic Spiral. Learn about that in later seasons. We're also introduced to Charles Rudheimer III, but people basically call him Upchuck. And you'll notice one of the supporting characters, Tiffany, who's a member of the fashion club with Quinn. In the invitation, her voice is normal and regular, but after that, it becomes down and mellow, almost emo-like. But she's not emo. They did a voice change on her because they just want to have individuality. Episode 3, College Sport, is basically the Morgendorfers go to the parents' college. This becomes a running theme of college admissions, extracurricular activities, and all that. Cafe Di Fasco. A cafe gets robbed. Mr. O'Neill makes kind of like a poetry coffee house session thing. Um, the school raises money for it. Daria and Jane are out selling candy bars, and they run. One of the houses they go to is a heavy-set diabetic. She opens the door up. She is swaying like everything, and then she falls, collapses. Daria and Jane does not want to sell any candy for her because what just happened, that woman calls the principal up and says, "You refused to sell her candy. It was a moral decision. We're not going to give her sugar chocolate that'll eventually kill her." Well, how do you know it's for our family? It doesn't matter. We We'll get a lot of inspiration with that. Um, Daria is forced to read a story for it, and it just becomes hilarious. It ends up with Mr. O'Neill crying, and all the students going to the Russian embassy. Lawndale has no embassies. We're also introduced to Andrea, the goth chick. She is friendly, but she doesn't want all that. Episode 5, Mall. There's a school trip to a huge mall. It's basically hilarity, not hilarity ensues, but talks about economics. We're also introduced to Miss Bennett, the economics teacher, who loves Fuzzy Wuzzy Wee Bits. This is basically like, oh, I can't think of it, those Thai dolls. I can't remember what they're called, but someone in the comment section will know what I mean. Little stuffed animals. We also introduced that Quinn is vice president of the fashion club. Her, Tiffany, and I can't think of the other two girls. This year's model. There's a modeling contest at school. Quinn gets in the class, but Kevin wins by pure accident. We also find out that Daria's room used to house a schizophrenic shut-in. The funny part about this year's model episode is at the very end, Daria secretly calls mercenary, Wheel of Fortune type people to the school. It's just hilarious how it happens. Lab Rat. We are introduced Ms., not Mrs., Ms. Bart, the science teacher, who was married for 22 years until her husband cheated on her. She's not really a sexist. At the beginning of the series, you'll think she's a sexist, but she's really not. About next season 2 and onward, she starts to fall in love with Mr. O'Neill. Basically, the episode is Kevin and Daria become partners. They become male and female partners. All the female students get high passing grades. All the male students get D's. Or F's, in Kevin's case. At pinch sitter, Quinn begs Daria to babysit the Gumbit twins. The Gumbit twins, boy and a girl, in this loving, happy family, sunshines and rainbows. The kids don't like it. They're acting like it until when Jane shows up. Then the kids just turn on, down, full 180, and go pure normal when they watch mud wrestling. The episode 2, Cute. Quinn wants plastic surgery when a girl in the school has a nose job, and then the entire fashion club gets a nose job except for Quinn. Spoiler, at the end of the episode, that girl who first got the nose job, her nose collapses. And the hilarious part is that the plastic surgeon gives Daria a set of breast implants. Like, here, have these for inspiration. They're breast implants. Even Upchuck got scared out of his mind and says, "What are these breast implants?" Ah! The big house. Daria and Quinn break curfew and are grounded. Hilarious part is that Helen, who is a lawyer, that's what I forgot to mention. Helen is a lawyer. Jake is a consultant. Helen is holding the house rules, and they're basically the Ten Commandments style. It just looks silly. We're also introduced to Jody, who is in the student council. I don't think she is president of the student council. I don't know till later. Road Warrior. This episode, you'll start to see Daria and Trent connect. Basically, Daria, Trent, Jane, and Jesse, who is a member of Mystic Spiral, not the same. Let me check. Okay, there are two different Jessies. There's the Jesse who's Quinn's quote quote boyfriend, and there's Jesse who is a band of Mystic Spiral. These are two different Jessies, so don't be confused. We find out that Jake went to Altamont and demanded a refund, even though Altamont is free. Funny scene is that the diner waitress they meet, she knows what they're going to order. When she sees the fashion club and the boyfriends go in, she looks in and says, I want 4 side salads and 3 double cheeseburgers. With vinegar dressing on the side for the salads. Kind of hilarious that happens. Almost near the end. The teachings of Dawn Jake. Basically, Jake has a nervous breakdown, causes one of his eyes to go bloodshot, and the family and Helen decides, let's go out to a camping trip. No electronics. Helen cheats. She brings a cell phone with her, and the family, except for Daria, eats psychedelic mushrooms or fruit. Quinn, Helen, and Jake have hallucinations. And then Daria finds Helen's cell phone, calls 911. We find that Jane's family, Jane, Trent, their parents, and their brothers and sisters, they're the black sheep of the whole family. Jane and Trent are their emissaries of their side of the family, and the whole family hates them. Why would you do this? Why would you get married? Why do you have to be so gothic and artsy and all that stuff? The final episode of Season 1, The Misery Chick. Famous quarterback Tommy Sherman visits a school for a dedication, and he dies by the said dedication. Tommy Sherman is a quarterback who's best known for smacking it right into the goalpost. The school decides, well, we have enough money to make a goalpost that will collapse easier when someone bangs into it. Unfortunately, thanks to some spiked pallets, when Sherman touches the goalpost, he gets killed. Everyone in the school, including the family, is saddened except for Daria, because basically Sherman was a jerk. Hitting on ladies, insulting the current students. But everyone except Daria sound like this is death. I mean, somebody that we know died, even though he was a jerk. And hence, because Tommy Sherman calls Daria the misery chick because you're so mopey and all that. It's just that people are afraid of death. But we have to get used to death because it can happen. It will happen to everyone. Immortality is a curse. And this episode of Misery Chick about Tommy Sherman will have not to say repercussions, but it will affect a later episode where the where Brittany thinks that the football team is cursed. Anyway, season 1 is a good, kind of good introduction to the whole series. I mean, the show ran for 5 seasons and had 2 movies. Anyway, if you have any questions about the show, please leave it on a comment. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I should have season 2 up by hopefully sometime in March. Because I'm still trying to find a job, helping out my family and all that. Anyway, thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. This is Barrel Dragon 65. Sign off.